So I was scrolling through TikTok for research purposes, and I came across this video asking which anime character is the most feared in their universe. The characters were All Might from My Hero, Yoriichi from Demon Slayer, Madara from Naruto, Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, Whitebeard from One Piece, and Zeno Sama from Dragon Ball Super. I know there's other variations of this question with other characters, but I figured let me throw my 2 cents in. Now, when it comes to being feared, you have to be someone that is the personified definition of him. I'm talking about Batman Arkham Origins, I am the reason the criminals breathe easier when the sun rises type of him. You can't even say their name without looking over your shoulder. Now, the first person that comes to mind is none other than the GOAT, Gojo. Gojo is a perfect example of how to introduce an extremely OP character and how they affect the story. This man came out the womb OP as fuck. When he was a tiny cell in his mother's uterus, he already shifted the power scale between jujitsu sorcerers and cursed spirits. Not only is this man untouchable, but he's unbeatable. But wait, what about that one time? I ain't trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear it. I ain't trying to hear no manga spoilers or none of that. But since you want to bring it up, yes, Toji Fushiguro gave Gojo that work so bad that Gojo vowed to never take a L again. And if you haven't watched that video, I recommend it. Now, back to Gojo. You know how OP you gotta be that the plot of the story basically revolves around you? There was literally 2 seasons about this man. The villains and even the sorcerers basically said, hey, we can't do anything as long as Gojo is still around because he is basically one-shotting anybody. They don't call him the strongest sorcerer for nothing. This man's limitless should just be called Black Air Force Energy because this man is always looking for smoke, no matter who or what it is. He's so feared that after getting imprisoned, season 2 spoilers, by the way, the Jujutsu headquarters said that if anybody tries to free him from his prison, they will get the death penalty on sight. Like, that's crazy. They acting like this man is Hitler and he went to war with everybody. Like, that's just crazy that you give somebody the death penalty just for trying to free their dog. Like, come on, bro. You that scared of this man that you gotta give people death penalties? All right, bro. Okay. Now, this next person is the real GOAT. The real definition of him. The #1 hero, all motherfucking might. You want to talk about the plot revolving around someone? Excluding Gojo, All Might fits that whole damn criteria. But the difference between Gojo and All Might is that he's both feared and inspirational. This man had no quirk and said he was gonna put the whole world on his back. And that's exactly what he did. He put the whole world on his back and had all the villains in the world shook because they knew if he would pull up on them, they ass was grass. They had this man looking like the first 10 minutes of the Batman talking about I am the shadows. As soon as they hear, I am here, they know it's game over. Holding the title as the Superman of anime, All Might's pull was a masterpiece. Oh wait, how could I forget? There's also a Superman anime out, so if you want to check that out, I highly recommend it because it is straight flames. All Might influenced everybody in the world. From the kids to the adults to the stray dog on the street. He even has God on his side. Don't believe me? Just ask Night Owl, RIP. He heard the nonsense that he told All Might about dying and pulled the Uno reverse card on him. All Might was so feared that the villains created an artificial being called Nomu that was specifically made to kill him. And guess what he did? He sent it flying like Team Rocket. Even after defeating All For One and telling the whole world who still wants to smoke, the villains were still scared. But that's pretty normal when you're dealing with a GOAT. But pay attention though. This is the key factor on why he's the most feared in his universe. When I tell you shit hit the fan when All Might retired, it hit the fan, reached the rooftops, went to Chick-fil-A and got a chicken biscuit, made it all the way to space, and somehow hit heaven's door. It seemed like every single villain that thought they was him came out of retirement. Now, if Gojo and All Might aren't the most feared in that universe, then I know for a fact that this next person has to be. and that is Zeno Sama. Zeno Sama is probably the weakest character on this list in terms of fighting ability, but when it comes to power, nobody is touching him. Zeno Sama is that kid that your parents would tell you to stay away from, but you hang out with them anyway, and then after about 5 to 10 minutes, you start to realize that your parents were right the whole time. That's the best way to describe Zeno Sama. Zeno is a straight menace. Every god of destruction and celestial being in the universe gets on their knees and bow like their life is on the line, which is literally the case. It's not respect, it's fear. Do you know how terrifying you have to be in order for the third most powerful characters in the universe, or the Dragon Ball universe, to be scared shitless? Like, not even the angels got that kind of pull, and they're the ones that are the second strongest and are literally guarding the gods of destruction. He can destroy and create universes in the blink of an eye. And how can I forget, there are also 2 Zeno Samas running around, one from the future and one from the present. You put that together and that's white and black Air Force energy combined into one. First introduction to the character, he erased Trunks' timeline just because Zamatsu forgot to eat a Tic Tac. Like, they were literally about to wipe out every single universe until Goku suggested the Tournament of Power. And to top it all off, they was going to destroy the winner of the tournament if they didn't wish for all of the other universes back. Like, do you know how ballsy of a move that is? Because I can only think of at least 2, maybe 3 universes that would have made that wish. But low-key, everybody should be grateful that Zeno Sama is a kid and doesn't have a fully functional brain and is not being trained, because he'd be an even bigger threat. He can already solo every anime verse. If you give him hands as well, that's GG, my boy. Now, this next man is probably the only character with the balance of both being feared and loved, and that is Whitebeard. What more can I say about him? He literally has a saying in the One Piece universe, excluding Kaido because he has one too. And Whitebeard's statement is, "Do not mess with the Whitebeard pirates because Whitebeard will F you up." Like, come on, man. That alone is a sign that this man is goated in the One Piece universe. If that's not enough, Whitebeard's Devil Fruit, the Tremor no Mi, has the ability to cause quakes. It was even stated that he has the power to destroy the world if he wanted to. That means that this man literally had the whole world in his hands. And we still don't know if his Devil Fruit was awakened or not. Now, besides Shanks, Whitebeard was the only pirate that had a somewhat balance to the power in the pirates to be. So basically, there's the good pirates and the bad pirates. Tongue twister. Pirates. He was, the balance for both sides, because after Whitebeard died, everybody tried making a name for themselves and trying to be the next Yonko. But no one can be like Whitebeard because there's only one Whitebeard. Now, I just wanted to throw some honorable mentions for One Piece in terms of characters being feared, because Whitebeard isn't the only one that had niggas shook. Big Goat Shanks, and that's all I'm gonna say. Big Goat Shanks is number 1, because I'm not even gonna go into details on why Shanks is the GOAT and why he's currently the most feared person in One Piece right now, besides, M-Sama and Luffy. I'm not gonna go into detail, so I'm just leave it at that. And Goldie Roger. Goldie Roger, man, he's a Hall of Famer. This man started the Great Pirate Era, and Marines have done everything they can to destroy his legacy. They went and killed anybody that had relationships with this man, except for the Whitebeard, except for the Roger pirates, because they couldn't touch them because Goldie Roger ordered that nobody touched him because he gave himself up. So they was like, I bet. They tried to get rid of every legacy that this man had touched, but have failed multiple times. And we saw that with Whitebeard. Whitebeard literally, before Whitebeard died, he literally stated Goldie Roger's last words, that the One Piece is real. Next we have is a character that I'm not really that familiar with, so I'm just going to be brief with them from what I've seen so far, and that man is Yoriichi, however you say it. I don't really know him, only that he's the strongest demon slayer in the world, and that he's the reason why Muzan checks his bed every night and is constantly changing his gender every time we see him on the show. Like, that ass whooping had to be something of legends, because this man be waking up in the middle of the night sweating. I'm talking about his wife and kids busting through the doors screaming, "Daddy, what's wrong?" type of PTSD. Every time Tanjiro does something, Muzan's PTSD kicks in every time. So if you want to put individual fear in a category, then Yoriichi takes the cake. He even has a training doll modeled after him because of how powerful he was. And now, to save the best for last. This man is the definition of him. When he breathes, you can't even breathe the same air as him because you're not even on his level. One of the greatest villains in anime history, Madara Uchiha. Now, this motherfucker right here was feared in the entire Naruto universe. You couldn't even say his name without some kind of backlash happening, just like Orochimaru. But yeah, Orochimaru is one of the most feared as well. I don't want to ignore him either. Like, you can go into the Boruto universe right now and say his name, and a whole bunch of shinobi will pop out of nowhere, ready to throw down like it's still the Great Ninja War era. Madara started the 4th Great Ninja War, and this nigga was dead the whole time. Just his name alone was enough for every ninja village to come together and form an everlasting alliance. That's God tier level of fear. I know the war was about the battle before the Biju, but the tailed beast. But Madara's name alone was enough for them to form an alliance because of how dangerous this man is. Like I said, that's God tier level of fear. Like, I know what you're probably thinking. Why is Minato not the most feared? I mean, during the 3rd Great Ninja War, there was a literal fleet on sight warning for this man because of how dangerous he was. Well, the answer is simple, because it's Madara freaking Uchiha. The man was practically dropping meteors on people like he was sitting on the toilet reading the latest Shinobi newspaper. Now, I'm not even going to talk about his feats, but this one feat alone should let you know why Madara is built different. Madara was so strong that Kishimoto didn't even know how to defeat him. He had to make up the Kaguya storyline just to save face. Like, come on, bro, that's too goated. Like, hey, that's hey. Now I know what you're thinking. That nigga was capping on that last statement. Now I know that the information wasn't true, but for the sake of this video, we gonna let it ride. Now, with that being said, which anime character do you think is the most feared character in their universe? It could be the ones that I mentioned or some other characters that deserve an honorable mention. Now, me personally, I think it's All Might. You can call it bias because of how much I love My Hero Academia, but, well, not just My Hero Academia, but All Might as well. But I mean, come on. Is it hard to believe that All Might is the most feared character in this verse? The whole world literally revolves around this man. From Japan to America, even countries that don't even have Wi-Fi know who this man is. The crime rate went from 5% to 90% in less than a year. Like, do you know how scared people had to be of you in order for the crime rate to drastically increase like that? I'm just gonna leave it at that. Let me know in the comments what you think, and make sure to hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.